And on to the next one in the Secret series, and we've done the beach one as the last one with the two sisters. This one an English pub scene, and it's a very crowded room. It's actually quite complicated, not just because of all the shapes and the figures, but also because of all the background and bottles and so on. We don't want to overdo it to become a photographic work. So I was just looking at Jim McVicker's work, wonderful artist, Australian, and I very much admire his colours and the way he paints loosely, but with fine drawing as well. Brilliant colourist too. And one of the things he was just saying on a video was to disregard the objects but look at the shapes, to forget the objects what they are but just get the shapes right. And it actually echoes one of the ways I'm teaching here, which is my jigsaw method, which I've been over again with you before, but I'll say it again. We put the right colours in the right shapes relevant one to another, and we keep those going all over the canvas at the same time so that we're building up that relevancy one shape to another. We're looking at how lights work against darks, how cools work against warms, the colour hues, and we're looking at how all the values are relevant one to another. So in this painting I'm going to be concentrating more on that, but it still is about paint. It's about light, it's about atmosphere, it's about mood, it's got the business about the people being together. I don't want to be painting individual portraits. I want to capture these characters of these people with a few simple strokes. I want to keep it very abstract. I want to keep it like the facets of a jewel, each colour relevant one to another as I'm saying, but also the abstract qualities of the painting, the dimensions of the painting, the colour planes of the painting. So I want to also be aware of the texture of the painting and the surfaces of the paint and the way the paint flows, either off the roller or off the brushes. So I'm going to attack it fairly loosely in these shapes all over and build up and then tighten up gradually, because if I start loose I can finish tight. If you start tight it's very hard to go back to being loose. So if I start very loosely I can get tighter and tighter and tighter and finish when I'm ready, finish when I'm at the right stage. I'm not forced into it. I can continue, or I can finish one part more or one part less or whatever. Let's see how that goes then, shall we? We're going to be using a variety of brushes and techniques today. And the sponges are there if we need them, which I don't think we need the sponges on this one. Haven't got that sort of texture, but we certainly need several brushes and different types of brushes, mainly my filberts, and I'm going to use some flats as well I think here, or possibly will. And I'm certainly going to use the rollers again too. So here we go then, nice big canvas. And another in the Secret series. Well, there's no point in my running it through slowly this time. We're running at high speed, so you can see the whole painting just flowing through, hopefully, and just watch it evolve. Well, there we are, another one in the series, this time an English pub, crowded, and not to everybody's taste, but let's see how many of you like it. So a closer look, show you how it was done in more detail, shall we?